It's still good morning, I guess, isn't it? We've been at it for a while. So I usually spend quite a bit of time when I meet with new nutrition clients trying to convince them that they're toxic. I don't think I have to do that this morning, do I? All right. My name's Donna Hetrick, and I am a clinical nutritionist, a personal trainer, a blood chemistry analyst. I have been in the community for over 30 years and working in some capacity in all of those arenas. I think that we've pretty much, I'm going to speed through some of the slides that have already been covered this morning because I think that we've all pretty much come to the conclusion that we're all pretty toxic. All right, so I am an Aquarian. I'm a fix-it gal, and I am a person that likes to give my clients tools. So when you hear these things and they're frightening, I kind of expected you all to be under your chairs in a fetal position with face masks on by now. I want to give you some tools and things that you can use, things that you can take home that aren't going to cost a lot, that you can find, locally, that kind of thing. That's always my goal. Most of the things that I'm in this next list are things that you've already heard about. It's not going to be new to you, but the point that I really would like to make is how we all can minimize our exposure, because that's what we need to do. We want to minimize our exposure. We want to amp up our own body's detoxification ability, and then sometimes we need some extra help. But it's my belief that we should be detoxing all the time, keeping our bodies clean, our systems strong, so the body can do what it's supposed to do. Sometimes we get into trouble and we wake up with things that happen to us, and then we have to go into overdrive. But the more that we can take care of our bodies and allow it to do what it needs to do and heal itself, the better we're going to be able to handle all those things that we don't have control over. You're driving down the road and you get the car exhaust. I see the sign in my neighborhood where they're spraying the pesticides. I don't have control over that. But I do have control over what I put in my body on a daily basis, what I do with my body on a daily basis. So no artificial sweeteners. 2 points with that. One, we know now that it really interferes with the microbiome, your gut flora. And if your gut flora is not serving you well, you are not detoxifying well. So we need to keep that all working. So using a simple thing, if you just don't even think about it, but you go out to eat and you use sweeten, low, or equal, stop doing that. You are not contributing to your body's ability to detoxify. The other thing that we finally are seeing the research on, and those of us in this field have known this for years, is that artificial sweeteners do not serve a diabetic well or somebody who has blood sugar issues. In fact, it causes insulin resistance, glucose intolerance. Therefore, it causes type 2 diabetes. Who knew? So it doesn't help with weight loss. There's really nothing good about them. So switch over to stevia or xylitol or something else that you can use instead. No plastic food containers or water bottles. It was cute. We were planning this little event today, and somebody asked about where's the water going to be, and Keely, we said, oh, no water bottles for this crowd. Sometimes you are in a situation where you just need to use a water bottle. You're traveling or whatnot, and you stop and you get one. But don't leave it in your car so that it gets overheated. Don't put it in your dishwasher and use it again. The scary thing is, though, what we know now is that even BPA-free plastic is letting off different endocrine disruptors. So you really need to go with glass and stainless steel are the best ways to go. If you're really concerned or you do a lot of drinking out of a water bottle, try to go with the stainless steel or the glass. No nonstick cookware. I want to show you a quick slide, because a lot of my clients were like, well, if you take that away, or they'll confess to me after we're continuing to see stuff in their labs that they're still using their Teflon because it's so good. Nothing sticks to it. And they don't have to use any, arm grease to try to get the scrambled egg off of it. And I understand, I truly do. But we have some really wonderful alternatives. The organic ceramic pans work wonderful. I find in my experience they don't last as long. This is not a lifetime purchase like, when you got married and you got your pans. You're going to be replacing your organic on a regular basis. But they do work, and you're not, toxifying yourself and your family every time you scramble an egg. Same organic. It's on the pan. You probably can't see it. That's the brand name, ORGANIC. Greenic, organic. And you can get them everywhere. They've got them all over the place. Most like Bed Bath Beyond, I think Target carries them, Kohl's. So, and then of course you've got the glassware, the glass, skillets and well, not a skillet, but the pots and whatnot. Corning, I think, is a big brand. So you could maybe do a combination of the two. And I know Mercola's got this whole line, but it's like thousands of dollars. And most people are not, able to put out that kind of money. So that's a good alternative for you. All right, no air fresheners. I've got a quick personal story about this one. Several of you in this room have worked to help get the health of my now 21-year-old back. A number of years ago, she had 2 concurrent concussions in a fairly quick amount of time and was diagnosed with neuroendocrine dysfunction. So basically, her pituitary and her hypothalamus went to sleep for a couple of years. So this really had quite an effect on her system. And so we were trying to, once we got the diagnosis and we knew that she would be able to heal from it, we wanted to do all that we could to help her body heal on its own and maybe speed it up a little bit. So did some testing, and we found out that she had a lot of different heavy metals in her body. And one thing that we were surprised at was that she had benzene and formaldehyde. And so, with me doing what I do, it wasn't so much, how's that in there? It's like, where is it coming from? So we started looking around, and sure enough, the little stinker had, gone to one of these shops in the mall and had purchased some of those plug-in filtration devices, the ones that, spit out the almond odor and this and that 24/7. She had 3 of them in her bedroom. And so it smelled great. And actually, the ones that she had like an essential oil odor to it, but it was all synthetically derived. So we got rid of that, we did some detoxing, and we cleared up her system. But that's a really good example of what happens when you have a crisis, a health crisis, and up to that point, she was managing it, right? She hadn't hit a tipping point. But once you hit the tipping point and you have a downward spiral in your health, all these little things can add up and have an impact on you that they wouldn't have if you were strong and your immune was good. No antibacterial soaps and detergents. We know now with these that they really do destroy our immune function, and they are not a good thing for us to be having to be using on our clothing, using on our bodies on a regular basis. I did want to mention, and I don't know about anybody else, but I actually had to go online. This is hilarious. You should have seen me last night. I went online and listened to the YouTube pronunciations of a lot of these words because I didn't know how to say them. They're chemicals. They're not in my world, I mean, they are in my world, but I really don't deal with them, on a day-to-day basis. So triclosan is what is in toothpaste, and also you can find it in acne creams. So if you've got teenagers, so I'm telling you that it's in the antibacterial hand soaps and whatnot, but it's also in toothpaste and it's in the acne creams. So these things are things that we use on a daily basis. All right, so again, it's like drip, 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 drip. Everything's going into the body, and we want to make sure that we are not doing that too often with too much stuff that it becomes a burden. You can come up with so many different cleansers and cleaning concoctions for your home that you can make with hydrogen peroxide. And one of the very few things that I recommend to my clients they buy in a plastic jug is white vinegar. And it's so cheap. And so you can keep it and use it for everything. And you don't need to buy any of these super amped cleaning products that are adding a lot of chemicals to your environment. And the way that I recommend that you use the hydrogen peroxide and the vinegar is just you simply put each one in a spray bottle, not together. And I don't know exactly why this is. Maybe somebody can tell me, but you have a spray bottle of your vinegar and a spray bottle of your hydrogen peroxide. You spray it one time with one, and you spray it the next time with the other one. That's how you do it. Works beautifully and will kill anything that you pretty much have in your kitchen or a bathroom, salmonella, shigella, E. coli. It really works great. All right, and that dealt with the no commercial cleaning products as well. And we've got some amazing essential oils. I worked with Angela a couple of years ago, had her come into my house and said, I want to clean this, tell me what to mix, you know. So I have my bottle of cheap vodka under my sink. So I realized when the plumber came what that looked like. He's like looking under there, and there's this big plastic bottle. And what is that called? It's like the I don't know, it's like a hand or something. I don't know what. It was pretty funny. So I said, oh, that's for my cleaning products. And he's just kind of looking at me. I'm like, okay, Mrs. Hetrick. All right. All right, so personal care products, wow, this is a huge one. And of course, we have, you know, some experts here in Keely and Alina with their amazing products, which is what drew me to Keely from the beginning, was trying to find an esthetician who didn't want to put chemicals on my face. And their products are so clean, and as Alina said, you can eat them, but so many products out there are not out of that same ingredient base. And if you are a woman who is shopping at CVS or Target for your makeup, and you are not using organic products, it's estimated that you're putting 5 pounds of chemicals in your body on an annual basis. That's just makeup. I'm not talking about skincare, lotions, moisturizers, you know, cleansers and all that. This is just your blush, your foundation, and that kind of thing. And when you put it on, it goes into your system. That was the other thing that we found out when we did some testing with Jerry Liz, is that we found out that she had a high level of aluminum. You know, her deodorant, her makeup, all of that. I see a lot of women that have high cadmium levels. If you look at the ingredient list, or I guess it's not going to be on your ingredient list. They're not going to say it, but the Environmental Working Group put out a study that 51% of all cosmetics are high in cadmium. That's a lot of chemicals that we really don't need in our body. All right, so that's a real easy one there too, to kind of clean up your act with the personal care products. Be finicky about your fish. This is a hard one for nutritionists. We want to give people healthy forms of protein to eat. Protein is one of the most significant macronutrients in the body for so many reasons. However, in this community, it is hard to get good fish. And when someone tells me they don't like fish, I know they haven't eaten good fish. So you really need to be very careful not to eat the fish that have been in the ocean for a really long time. One of my props that I brought along was my Wild Planet tuna. So there are products out there that you can purchase, that studies have been done on them, that show you that the mercury content in this tuna is less than what would be in other forms, other brands of tuna. Why is that? Because they farm the fish that are smaller, that haven't been in the ocean for the length of time that some of the other fish are. So if you like tuna and you want that as part of your diet, then you want to make sure that you're getting a quality product and one that's not going to be contributing. It drives me crazy when I have someone that's come to me that's done like a whole mercury amalgam revision, and they're eating tuna 3-4 times a week, and they get a NutriVal with Doc V, and their mercury's off the charts. So they got it all taken out of their body, but now they're ingesting it. Sushi's another one to be really careful of. So be really mindful of that. Electronic devices, I've actually seen clients who have EFA sensitivity, and I mean this is very serious. These are individuals that basically live in cave-like situations, and if they get out into a situation in the community where they take a hit from too much electromagnetic energy, they are gone for the next 2 to 3 weeks. So it reacts very much kind of like somebody that's got fibromyalgia, or that you have another autoimmune disorder. It can really, really be very debilitating. So I think that this whole idea of sleeping with your cell phone as your alarm, okay, not a good idea. That is right by your head, it's by your brain, not a good idea. To be carrying your cell phone on your body, on your person. I'm after my kids about that all the time. I tell my son, if you ever want to be a dad, keep it out of your pocket. Come on. You know, so, you know, these are things that we don't think about. We live in this really modern world, and these are amazing tools that we have, but we really have to think about what the impact is, what are the negative side effects along with the benefits. All right, consider your dental work. This is a big deal. It's a big deal financially. Anybody who's looked into it, it's a big deal to find somebody who knows what they're doing. There's another one. As I see individuals, I do blood chemistry work, and I look, their mercury amalgam levels are off the charts, and they've had all of their mercury taken out. They're not eating tuna. What's going on? Well, the person who took it out did not follow the precautionary removal protocol, and they got a lot of mercury in their system. Oh, they just removed it. Well, you don't just remove a toxin just by taking it out. You have to put in a dam reservoir. You need to do chelation afterwards. There's a protocol you need to follow. So if that's something you're looking into, make sure you're working with a really sound, experienced biological dentist. Don't just go to your dentist and say, take this out. There needs to be a lot more legwork done. Don't spray your household with pesticides. This is one that I will mention to clients as well, and it's one of those things that, I'm looking at Rita, one of those things we don't think about. Again, you know, I'm like you. I don't like spiders and bugs in my house, but I absolutely will not let my husband spray. I mean, I've turned people away at the door when he sent them over. How can I do that? You know, I do what I do, and I see what's in these labs. And I thought, I'm not going to let you come in here and put this stuff down. I've got a dog. I mean, the whole deal. So you need to figure out other ways to manage having those, little pests that come in your home, because you're going to get them, particularly at certain times of the year. But this is a really dangerous thing, and it is very impactful on your health. And it may not impact you right away, but again, that tipping point. You may be fine and say, I've had my house sprayed, twice a year for the past 35 years, and I'm fine. And then all of a sudden, you get a tick bite. All of a sudden, you have a hit on your immune system that you're not able to manage it anymore. Somebody comes in and sprays your house, and you have a violent reaction that you're not even putting two and two together that that's what it was. All right, eat organic. I get asked this a lot. Do you really have to eat organic to be healthy? Everybody's looking to go around, under, whatever. Do we really have to do it? Gloria mentioned Dr. Jackson, mentioned the Clean 15 Dirty Dozen. That's a great guide. It really is. Use it. And I will use that if I'm in a situation where I can't get organic. To me, the new organic is eating locally. Talk to the people who are growing your food. There's a lot of people that can't afford to get the label organic, but they're not using any herbicides, pesticides, insecticides on their, growing their produce in the area. So talk to them. Get to know what they're doing, what their practices are, and you can really feed your family very healthfully by going as cleanly as possible. It does make a huge difference. I mean, the studies they've done is that if you go organic for a week, that you urinate 89% less organic phosphates, the pesticides. 89% less. So, and that's a person who's managing it well. If you have MTHFR mutation, if you have another genetic mutation that doesn't allow your body to release these types of things, it's going to stay inside and be in your fat cells until you somehow manage it in another way. All right? So that would be somebody whose body's functioning very well. Go shoeless indoors. I love this one. The whole grounding concept, I was so excited when I heard it because I thought, oh, I'm doing that, because I'm walking around in my house bare feet. Well, it's not on your hardwood floors. That's not grounding. You got to be outside. There needs to be a little bit of moisture, So, but it is a really good idea not to be tracking all this stuff through your house. So it's kind of an interesting thing, because I know when I go to someone's home and they ask you to remove your shoes, it's kind of a little offensive. Like, you just feel like a little put off. But now I think about it really differently. And in our home, you walk in, the shoes stay here, and everybody's in their bare feet. So we're not tracking it all over. I even spray off my dog's paws before she comes in, after we've been roaming around on the golf course and getting our daily dose of Roundup. Yeah. So, so it really does make a difference in how much you're bringing into your house. So think about that. So, and the part on the grounding, walking outside in your bare feet, every morning, I walk out to my mailbox to get my paper in my bare feet through the wet grass. So it's just, I just make one path out, one path back. That's it. But you know, it's something. So I think sometimes we think that if we can't go for an hour stroll on the beach, or that we don't have these, you know, grassy knolls to be hanging out on or whatever, that we can't do it. But I think in the world that we live in, we have to figure out ways that we can fit these things in. I think every little bit helps. All right, pick your food wisely. There's something called a capturing capability with food. And I learned of this term for the very first time listening to the Cancer Summit. Maybe some of you did as well. And I thought, wow, that is so powerful. And that's exactly what happens when you eat foods that are unprocessed and they're whole and they contain antioxidants and other antivirals and anti-inflammatory properties, is they are capturing the junk and the stuff that shouldn't be in there and just moving it right on out of the body. So foods that have very little processing and that don't have any chemicals in them have a very high capturing ability. Processed foods are dead foods that don't do any of that, but slug up your system, slow it down, they don't contribute, and they tie your system up, and they make it work very hard to try to get something out of it, because your body believes that you gave it something of value. All right? So that marshmallow, however, has nothing of value. And that doesn't mean that you can't have joy once in a while in having a marshmallow, but when you do things like that on a daily basis, it strips your body. You're not getting away with a fat-free, low-fat, whatever food. That's not a free food, because you are paying for it in minerals and other vitamins that your body is trying to put with it to make something out of it. So, little nutritional nugget for the day that I think is amazing. Strawberries have a very high heavy metal binding capacity, and they bind with mercury. So if you're going to eat your regular tuna, have a bowl of strawberries with it. Okay? You know, I'm always looking. Organic strawberries, absolutely. Very good point. So yes, because regular strawberries are on the dirty dozen list. Yeah. So you want to do the organic strawberries. But that's how you can use your food to help you out and get the most out of it. Detox on a daily basis. So one of the things that I see a lot in labs are high BUN levels, which mean that somebody's dehydrated. And the person will be sitting across from me swearing that they drink all day long, they drink a ton of water. Then what I realize is probably what's happening is that they are not absorbing what they're drinking. And I know there are other practitioners here in the room that also see the same thing. So hydration is huge for your health, for immunity, and for detoxification. Drives me crazy when people talk about drinking water so that they're not hungry. You know, it's for the detoxification purposes that we really want to stay hydrated and make sure that our cells are functioning in fullest capacity. I get asked all the time, how much water do I need to drink? I have no idea, all right? I don't, okay? I don't know what your activity level is. I don't know what your toxic burden is. There are different things that determine for each of us how much water that we need. My answer to that is to drink all day long and do it consistently. You know, getting up in the morning and chugging down 10 ounces of water and then drinking coffee all day and drinking 10 more ounces of water at night is not the same as consistently flushing your cells and giving your body fluid all day long. Pure, you know, clean water makes a huge, huge difference for your health. So here are some symptoms that you might see if you're not getting water in your system. So if you're drinking all day long, you know that you're drinking 64 plus ounces of water and your skin's still dry, you have a lot of mental fatigue, you have brain fog, you are having food cravings, you know, you still have elevations in some of your markers, then that lets you know that you're not getting it in your system. So then we've got a defect in what we call cellular absorption. This happens because of age as well. I think it's kind of one of those things that just as things start, you know, not working quite as efficiently, we have to deal with this issue. So I like to actually have people put different types of supplements in their water. Putting lemon and lime, cucumber, orange slices, people drink twice as much water when there's a little bit of flavor. okay? And there are different schools of thought on this. Well, if you put something in the water, then it's food. Your body accepts it as food. I put it in the water. If that's the way that you're going to drink it, you're going to get more benefit out of it that way. That's what I have to do. I actually have a recipe that I'll show with you right here. This is my personal answer to hydration for me. Every morning, I fill up a 64-ounce pitcher, and I use my filtered water. I put something in it called Mega Hydrate. I know that Dr. Jackson also has a supplement that she uses to enhance water supplementation. This works for me. I put 2 scoops in there. It doesn't taste like anything. I put in a 1/4 cup of lemon or lime juice. But what kind of lemon or lime juice is it, Donna? Does it have to be organic? Do you have to squeeze your own lemons, your limes? Whatever works for you. All right? Don't make this that it has to be perfect, because if you do and you start squeezing lemons and limes every day, you're going to last about a week. Okay? Go to Wegmans and get the real lemon, the real lime, or whatever it is, the organic, and put that in, and that works beautifully. And then I like to put in some stevia. I like it a little sweet. All right? And so I make that up. And if nobody else helps themselves to mom's water, then I get the whole jug, and I only make 1 a day. I get through 64 ounces. If my husband hits it, my daughter fills up several water bottles to take to work. I don't complain because I'm happy that she's drinking it. I just refill. But this is what works for me. When I do this, I drink twice as much water in a day than if I'm just drinking plain water. So figure it out for you, but get your water in and make sure that you're hydrated. All right, getting rid of the nasties. So if you do some blood testing with Doc V or another practitioner in the community and it's appearing that you've got some heavy metals in your system, or you just want to do everything you can to bring down that burden, because there's a really good chance that most of us have something in there, here are some things that you can do. I love working with cilantro and chlorella together. One actually binds it and takes it to the intestines, and the other one moves it on out of the system. So this is something that is inexpensive and easy to put together. And again, using really clean herbs and products are really paramount in this situation. You don't want to take in other toxins to get rid of toxins. You're just adding to your body burden. But at the bottom there, the clinical studies have shown that a tremendous amount of lead and mercury and aluminum are gone in the body in a little over a month and a half simply by ingesting these 2 different substances. So here's a really awesome drink, and I want you guys to write this down. I'll give you a chance. You put in 12 ounces of filtered water, make sure it's clean, an 1/8 cup of fresh cilantro, locally grown yourself or from the farmer's market where somebody's doing organic herbs. I think you can get organic grown cilantro at Wegmans, and I've even seen it at Target on occasion. An 1/8 cup of fresh parsley, a 1/2 teaspoon of chlorella, which is going to be in a liquid form. And chlorella is something that's really super easy for you to put in your water at any time as well. They have ones that have mint flavor to them, which are really nice. You throw it all into a Magic Bullet, a Ninja, Vitamix, whatever you have, and you grind it all up and you drink it. So it's one of those situations. 12 ounces of that for me is a bit much at one time. So I find that I do 2 different drinks. I do try to drink it within several hours of making it because of the oxidation that takes place over a period of time. So you wouldn't want to make this on Monday and not drink it till Wednesday. You would get some benefit out of it, but you wouldn't get the amount of benefit that you get if you're drinking it right away. All right, one of my favorite products, diatomaceous earth. So when I was talking about the insects that come into your house, so if you come into my house right now and you go into the master bathroom, and my housekeeper's hilarious. She knows not to touch it. After she vacuumed it up one day and I had to put more down, I told her, I was like, leave it. No, Ludi, don't pick that up. She thought I was just being a slob in my office and spilled something and didn't clean it. So diatomaceous earth is this amazing product that is fossilized type of substance. And it's a white powder, and anybody can come up and look at this if they want. You need to get food grade. All right, so when you're looking for this product, you don't want to go to Roxbury Farms and get a big bucket of it unless you're going to use it in your yard. Okay, so if it's yellow or gray or it has any kind of color to it, it likely has something else in it. It should be an off-white or a white color. So this is a substance that is going to carry out heavy metals, pesticides, even environmental allergens. I've been using this product since, I think, maybe Jennifer, January? Was it before that? I think it was like in the fall. So when the allergen, the heavy allergy season, over the Memorial Day holiday, this one is sitting on my screen and porch from like 12 until 5. And my husband was like, what are you doing? You're going to be up all night. Because normally, if I'm outside for that amount of time, I am so congested and so miserable with the allergies. My eyes get all swollen, the whole deal. Not anything. It was amazing. And so this must have gone into my system and carried out some of those allergens that I was breathing in, and I was keeping my tipping point to a level that my body could manage. The other thing that had happened to me is I hate airports. They are very toxic environments for me. There's a tremendous amount of gases and fuels and petrofuels and all that stuff, and I'm very sensitive to that being celiac. So using this, we went to Punta Cana in the beginning of May. No headaches, no sick to my stomach. Didn't even think about taking my Dramamine when I got on the plane. Didn't even need it. Innately, I knew I didn't need it. On the plane, on the way back, my husband looked at me at one point and said, boy, it's getting a little rough. I'm like, is it? Meanwhile, I would have had my head in a bag. And the lady, one row over, she did have her head in a bag. I had absolutely no problems. So it's been really, really an amazing addition for me personally, and I've been using it very successfully with clients as well to help them lower their body burden. And it's very accepted very well into the body. Start with a half a teaspoon if you're someone who is really sensitive. And me, Jennifer, I just did the whole scoop. Just throw it in there, see what happens. I had no problems. So with some people, you do can have constipation, or on the other end, you could have loose bowels. So if you are a person who's very sensitive to things, start slowly and then build your way up to the scoop. So, but this is really an amazing, amazing product that I'm happy to share with you. And it's super easy to do. So one of the things that we end up doing a lot of time are organ cleanses and the whole day 30 and the 21 day this and whatever. I have nothing against any of those. However, we should not be relying on those only. Okay, we can do those as an additional cleansing option if we really need it. But to my way of thinking, if you are eating your organic strawberries and you are doing your chlorella and your cilantro in your drink and you're taking your diatomaceous earth along the way, you're keeping the levels at very manageable for your system. It makes it a little bit easier. Is there a question in the back?
Yes. Do you eat it or drink it?
You eat it. So you actually, it's powder, and you are not supposed to snort this. All right, so here's how it works with the insects. I got totally sidetracked. Okay, this is really awesome. So I'm sitting in my office one day, and I had a client, and so I'm at my desk, and I look over, and there is this whole parade of ants coming in my window. Ants love water sources, and right outside my office window is a sprinkler, like the sprinkler system is set up there. So they are just tracking it in, heavy and hard. And I mean, they're just up and down and around. So as soon as she left, I went and I got my diatomaceous earth, and I just gave them a little flower party with this. And it was amazing. Talk about an instant regression. I mean, up and out of there, and not a one since. And I've actually swept it up after that, and they've never come back in. How this works on insects is that it actually has a razor-like capability, and it slices, and so for the little insect, it does a number on them. In my bathroom, some kind of a little weird worm thing was coming in the window, went and got the diatomaceous earth, sprinkled it on there, and they're gone. It kills whatever's there, and then they know. They just don't come back in. So it's pretty amazing stuff. But I put it in my protein shake in the morning. So you can put it in water and then, just drink it down. A little bit of almond milk probably I would think would be a little bit more palatable than just water, but it mixes in beautifully. So as long as you don't take it, you don't want to mix it in with food. Like you won't want to put it in with like mashed potatoes or quinoa or something like that. You want to put it in with liquid and then drink plenty of liquid afterward. Yeah, it's great to use throughout your house. So here's how you use it. 1/2 teaspoon to 1 teaspoon. Drink a lot of water with it. If you are really toxic and you're not doing anything else, you may actually experience a detox reaction from using this product. So just FYI, that could happen. I have yet to have that happen with any of my clients, which I love because it makes it much more manageable for them, but it could happen. Yes?
Do you have to be careful using this with medications or even vitamins?
No, it's not. We're going to talk about activated charcoal, which you do. She wanted to know if you'd be careful of using this by using any vitamins or medications. No, everything from I've read, there is not a leaching situation that happens with that. In fact, I take vitamins with my protein shake with the diatomaceous earth. Yeah. Okay, activated charcoal. This is something that's been around for a really long time, and Chinese medicine, Ayurvedic medicine, we've all used it. Even in hospitals, they keep activated charcoal for individuals that are poisoned. So it's something that we can use for what they call adsorption as opposed to absorption because it matches up with it and takes it out of the body. How I like to use it is if I eat out a lot in a week. I don't eat out in restaurants much at all, but every once in a while I'll have a situation where I will eat out multiple times and I usually end up feeling horrible, even when I'm eating a salad with chicken on it. Who knows what is in it? So I like to use the charcoal, activated charcoal then or when I'm traveling, when we go to Mexico or something out of the country. It's a wonderful tool to have along to make sure that your system is working cleanly and getting things out very quickly. It binds to pesticides, heavy metals, other environmental toxins. So it's really a great, great substance for you to add to your toolbox. How to use it. It comes either in a powder. I get mine in capsules because I don't like messing with this dark black looking stuff that gets all over everything. So I get the capsules and take it that way. It's got a tremendous amount of surface area to it. That's how it's able to go in the body and get stuff out quickly. If you are gluten intolerant and you want to get gluten out of your body quick, use activated charcoal. So if you take a hit, yeah, works beautifully. All right. So it can be used this is like in a crisis situation or a acute situation where you took a hit or you're not feeling well and you don't know why. This is how you use charcoal. This is not something you do on an everyday basis like the diatomaceous earth. Okay? So you just use this periodically because this will take minerals. It will take medications. Whatever's in there, it's going to take it out. So you got to be careful. When I mentioned glutathione, I'm running out of time here. This is a master antioxidant. We use this, I personally as a nutritionist specifically use this for mercury detoxification. Works amazing. Doc V, I haven't even told you, I had a client that came to me after she had seen Doc V, and I have a soluble molecule mix that I've shared with her practice, and she came in and brought me her NutriVal, and her mercury was Zippo, and it had been up to 95. She did the mercury soluble molecule mix, and I mean, it took it right out of her system, so it works really well. Biggest thing with glutathione is it tastes horrible. So the biggest joke that we nutritionists have, we go to all these conferences with vendors, is everybody's telling us that their glutathione is the best tasting. And it's just nasty. And the best way for you to get it in your body is to open the capsule up and put in a little bit of apple juice, or there's a liposomal form of it. But they all taste horrible. So that's one of the things that's really difficult is compliance, and with kids. So that's why I'm grateful for the things like diatomaceous earth, which you can get into a child in a little bit of, chocolate almond milk, and they're not even going to know that it's in there. Where this works beautifully in certain situations, but it is tough to get get in your system. That's why I usually use food and lifestyle a lot to boost glutathione production. Your liver does produce glutathione. So you want to make sure that you're getting sulfur-rich vegetables. And that's what's nasty about it. It's got that sulfury egg kind of nastiness going on with it. So you want to get those vegetables and you want to eat them raw. My favorite way to keep my glutathione stores up is to take whey protein every day. I'm an O blood type. I don't do well with dairy. So the only whey protein powder that works well in my body is something called One World Whey. And write that all down, and don't be angry with me that you're not going to be able to get it until July. They're reformulating it, and it'll be back on the market then. But that is a cold-pressed, superior quality whey protein that works for all blood types. And that's the only one that I've found that does. Raw eggs. Anybody a big fan of raw eggs in your protein shakes? Make sure that you know where they came from, right? Locally pastured. Exercise is a great way for you to get a lot of toxins out of your body. One thing I would want to share with you, this was from the Cancer Summit also, you can sweat more lead out of the body in an hour than you can pee out in 24. So remember that. If you end up getting a lead overload, the best way to get it out is through sweating. If you can't exercise to the extent that you can do that, use the saunas that several of the speakers talked about earlier, or use the ionic foot bath or something like that, but that's going to work best for you. All right, I think everything else is pretty much, if you are detoxing, don't exercise hard, okay? Walking, yoga, things that work with your body, but they're not taxing and challenging your body, because you don't need that extra exertion during that time. All right, thank you very much.